There's a shift happening in your life right now that you might be dismissing as coincidence. You're noticing things, small things, seemingly random things that keep pointing you toward love. A song that reminds you of a feeling you haven't felt yet. A conversation that makes you think about partnership in a way you haven't before. Dreams that feel less like sleep and more like preparation. And here's what I need you to understand right from the beginning. These aren't accidents. God is showing you signs that your soulmate is closer than your logical mind wants to believe. Not someday close, not eventually close, but sooner than you think close. And the reason you're watching this video right now, in this exact moment of your life, is because your spirit is ready to recognize what your eyes are about to see. I know some of you have been waiting so long that hope feels dangerous. You've trained yourself not to get too excited, not to read too much into things, not to believe that this could actually be your time. You've watched other people find their person while you're still praying for yours. And somewhere along the way, you started protecting yourself from disappointment by expecting nothing. But what if I told you that everything is about to change? What if the waiting wasn't wasted time, but preparation time? What if God has been working behind every single scene, orchestrating details you can't even imagine, aligning circumstances with precision, and your soulmate has been on a journey toward you just as intentionally as you've been on a journey toward them? Stay with me, because what I'm about to walk you through isn't theory or wishful thinking. This is about reading the spiritual signals that are happening in your life right now today, this week, this season. God doesn't just bring people together randomly. There's always a trail of signs, a pattern of preparation, a series of confirmations that something divine is in motion. And if you've been feeling restless lately, if you've been sensing that something is different but you can't quite name it, if you've been experiencing these strange moments of knowing without knowing how you know, keep watching, because we're about to decode exactly what God is showing you, why it's happening now, and what it means for your love story that's closer than you think. Some of you just felt your heart skip. That's confirmation. Your spirit recognizes truth before your mind can process it. So take a breath, open your heart to what's possible, and let's walk through this together. If this is already stirring something in your spirit, drop a heart emoji in the comments. Let's create an atmosphere of faith together. Asterisk, let's start with what's actually happening in your life right now. Because the signs aren't subtle, you've just been trained not to trust them. You've been having these moments where you catch yourself daydreaming about a life you don't have yet. But it doesn't feel like fantasy. It feels like memory. You'll be in the middle of something ordinary, grocery shopping, sitting in traffic, washing dishes, and suddenly you'll feel this wave of warmth, this sense of someone's presence, even though you're alone. You might even feel the urge to turn around, like someone just walked into the room. But nobody's there. Or so you think. Here's what's really happening. Your spirit is sensing what's coming before your reality catches up. You're picking up on the frequency of your soulmate's energy because they're thinking about you too. Even if they don't know your name yet, even if you haven't met yet, the spiritual realm doesn't operate on the same timeline as the physical world. Connection begins in the invisible before it manifests in the visible. And you've been more emotional lately, haven't you? Songs hit different. Movies make you cry at scenes that wouldn't have affected you before. You're feeling everything more deeply, more intensely. Your heart isn't breaking down, it's breaking open. God is softening you, preparing you to receive the love that's coming. You can't receive something you're hardened against. So every tear, every tender moment, every time you let yourself feel that's not weakness. That's readiness. Pay attention to the conversations you've been having recently. Even casual conversations keep circling back to relationships, partnership, commitment. Your friends are asking you about your love life more than usual. Family members are making comments. Strangers are sharing their love stories with you out of nowhere. You might think this is just random, but it's not. God uses people as messengers. When everyone around you starts speaking love language over your life, that's confirmation that love is in the atmosphere. And here's something specific. You've been letting go of people and situations that no longer serve you with unusual clarity lately. Relationships that you would have held on to desperately 6 months ago, you're releasing them without drama, without bitterness. You're setting boundaries you couldn't set before. You're walking away from crumbs without looking back. You're saying no to situations that aren't aligned with what you truly want. That's not you becoming cold or jaded. That's God clearing the space. You can't receive your soulmate while you're still cluttered with people who are only meant to teach you what you don't want. This is where it gets beautiful. There's been an unexpected peace settling into your spirit about being single right now. Not the peace that comes from giving up, but the peace that comes from knowing something is coming. You're not anxious anymore. You're not desperate. You're not scrolling through dating apps at midnight, feeling lonely. You're actually ... content. But it's a different kind of contentment. It's the calm before the blessing. It's the settled knowing that you don't have to chase or force or manufacture anything because what's yours is already on its way. Don't miss this. You keep seeing repeated numbers, especially combinations that feel significant to you. Maybe 1111, maybe sequences like 222 or 444. Maybe other patterns that catch your eye multiple times a day. These aren't just coincidences. Numbers are one of the ways divine communication breaks through the noise of daily life. When you keep seeing the same sequences, God is saying, pay attention. I'm speaking. You're on the right path. Keep trusting. And your dreams, they've been different lately, haven't they? Not necessarily dreams about a specific person, but dreams that feel significant. Dreams about weddings, celebrations, journeys with someone you can't quite see clearly. Dreams where you feel loved, protected, chosen. You wake up and the feeling lingers longer than dreams usually do. Your subconscious is processing what your spirit already knows. Love is coming now. I want you to think about something specific that's been happening with your own self-care and self-development. You've been investing in yourself lately without even realizing its preparation. Taking better care of your health, upgrading your environment, pursuing goals and dreams you put on hold, reading, learning, growing, creating a life you genuinely love. That's not random either. God is maturing you into the person who can sustain the relationship you've been praying for. Your soulmate isn't coming to complete youth. They're coming to complement the whole, healed, purpose-driven person you're becoming. Type, I'm ready. If you're recognizing these signs in your own life, asterisk, let's go deeper into what makes this season different from every other season you've walked through. Because I need you to understand the magnitude of what's unfolding. The spiritual alignment. There's a spiritual maturity that's developed in you that wasn't there before. You've been through fire, and instead of making you bitter, it made you better. You've been disappointed, and instead of closing your heart, you chose to keep it soft. You've been alone, and instead of settling, you chose to wait for real. That journey, every painful moment of it, was necessary. Not because God wanted you to suffer, but because the love you're about to receive requires a certain level of spiritual and emotional capacity to sustain it. Your soulmate has been on their own journey too. They've been healing from their own past, breaking their own patterns, learning their own lessons. And here's the miraculous part. God has been coordinating both of your timelines simultaneously. While you were learning to set boundaries, they were learning to respect them. While you were learning your worth, they were learning to honor it. While you were developing your spiritual life, they were developing theirs. You've been preparing for each other without knowing it. This is why the timing had to be exactly right. You couldn't have met them 3 years ago. Either of you was ready. You would have recognized each other, but ruined it with your unhealed patterns. God protected you from meeting too soon by keeping you apart. Now, you're both approaching a point of readiness at the same time, and when you finally meet, it won't be a project. It'll be a partnership. The pattern of divine setup God has been setting things up in ways you won't recognize until you're looking back. Doors that closed, that devastated you at the time, those were relationships that ended, that broke your heart, those were completions. Plans that fell apart, that made you question everything, those were divine interventions. Every no was protecting you from a wrong, so you'd be available for the right. And recently, you've been experiencing what I call divine positioning. Things are shifting in your practical life, your job, your living situation, your social circles, your routines. You might be changing locations or staying put when you thought you'd move. You might be starting something new or finishing something old. Whatever is happening, it's positioning you geographically, socially, and circumstantially to intersect with your soulmate's life naturally, because here's how God works. The meeting will feel organic, not forced. It won't be dramatic or movie-like necessarily. It might be simple, easy, almost surprisingly natural. You might meet through mutual friends, through work, through a hobby, through a completely random encounter that feels like the most natural thing in the world. And when you look back, you'll see that God orchestrated 1,000 tiny details to make sure you were both in the right place at the right moment, the internal transformation. But the most significant sign isn't external, it's internal. You've changed. Your concept of love has matured. You're no longer looking for someone to complete you or save you or fix your loneliness. You're looking for someone to build with, grow with, serve God with. Your prayers have changed too. You're not just praying for someone attractive or successfully, you're praying for someone spiritually aligned, emotionally healthy. You're praying for compatibility, not chemistry alone. You're praying for covenant, not just connection. This shift in what you want is actually a sign that you're about to receive it. God doesn't upgrade your desires unless He's about to fulfill them. When your prayer changes from God, send me anyone, to God, send me the right one, that's maturity. And maturity attracts mature love. And you've stopped trying to manufacture or manipulate circumstances. You're not trying to make anything happen anymore. You're not forcing conversations, engineering run-ins, strategizing encounters. You've released control and stepped into trust. That surrender, that's the final preparation. Because your soulmate isn't coming through your effort. They're coming through God's orchestration, the energetic shifters. Also, an energetic component happening that's important to understand. Your vibration has changed. You're operating at a higher frequency now, more peace, more joy, more gratitude, more faith. Like attracts like energetically. The bitter, desperate, anxious version of you attracted relationships that matched that energy. But this healed whole, trusting version of you is now magnetizing a different caliber of person. Your soulmate is being drawn to your energy before they even meet you. They're sensing that someone who matches what they've been praying for exists, even if they can't name you yet. And you're both being pulled toward each other by a force stronger than logic or planning divine magnetism. You might have even felt them in your prayers recently. When you pray about your future spouse, does it feel more specific than it used to? Do you sense their heart, their struggles, their character? That's not your imagination, that's spiritual sensitivity. Your spirit is connecting with theirs in the realm of prayer before your bodies meet in the realm of earth. The confirmation through others' end. God has been sending you confirmation through other people's stories. You keep hearing about couples who met later than expected, who found each other when they stopped looking, who experienced divine timing that seemed impossible. These stories aren't reaching you randomly, they're prophetic. They're showing you what's possible. They're building your faith. They're preparing you to recognize your own miracle when it arrives. Listen, God doesn't show you other people's testimonies to make you jealous. He shows them to you to build your expectation. Every love story you've witnessed recently where God came through, that's a preview. That's God saying, if I did it for them, do you not think I'll do it for you? Pay attention to the prophetic words that have been spoken over your life, whether through friends, spiritual mentors, or even strangers. Someone might have said something in passing about your love life that stuck with you. Someone might have prayed something specific over you. That felt like they knew something you didn't. God uses people to speak truth into your future before you can see it yourself. This isn't about creating false hope or building hype. This is about recognizing the patterns that always precede a divine encounter. And every single pattern is showing up in your life right now. If you're feeling the weight of this truth, just type soon in the comments. One word. Let it be your declaration. Asterisk, asterisk. Now, let's talk about the core truth that changes everything. Your soulmate is thinking about you right now, and they don't even know your face yet. I know that sounds impossible, but stay with me. There's a spiritual principle that most people miss. Before two people meet in the natural, their spirits connect in the supernatural. Your soulmate has been experiencing their own signs, their own stirrings, their own moments of something's different. They've been feeling a pull they can't explain. They've been sensing that their season of singleness is coming to an end. They've been having their own dreams, their own moments of unexpected hope, their own experiences of divine preparation. And here's what will absolutely shift your perspective. They're afraid to. They're wondering if this is real. They're trying not to get their hopes up. They're second-guessing the signs. They're nervous about whether they'll recognize you, whether there'll be enough, whether this will actually work out. Your soulmate isn't some perfectly confident person who has it all figured out. They're a human being on their own journey, dealing with their own fears and insecurities, hoping just as desperately as you are that God will come through. This is so important. Your soulmate isn't perfect. They're not going to arrive without flaws or past pain or things they're still working through. That's not what makes them your soulmate. What makes them your soulmate is that they're committed to growth. They're spiritually aligned with you, they're emotionally available, and they're willing to build something real. The fantasy version you've created in your mind, let that go. The real version will be better because they'll be real, flawed, and choosing you anyway. The shift in your perception, one of the most significant signs that your soulmate is close, is that your perception of love itself has shifted. You used to think love was a feeling, butterflies, obsession, constant excitement. Now you understand that real love is a choice made daily, a commitment that survives hard seasons, a partnership built on respect and spiritual alignment. You used to focus on chemistry alone. Now you're looking for compatibility, shared values, emotional maturity, spiritual depth. You used to want someone who made you feel a certain way. Now you want someone who treats you a certain way. This shift in what you're looking for is actually a sign that you're about to find it, because you can't recognize what you're not ready to receive. And here's a powerful revelation. You're no longer intimidated by healthy love. There was a time when real commitment would have scared you, when someone being genuinely interested would have made you run, when stability would have felt boring. Now you're craving it. You're ready for it. You want someone who stays, who's consistent, who means what they say. That readiness is a green light to God that you can handle what He's sending. Asterisk. The divine timeline lets address the sooner than you think part directly, because I know some of you are wondering exactly what that means. I can't give you a date. That's not how this works. But I can tell you this. When God says soon, He means that the spiritual groundwork is complete and the manifestation is imminent. Soon means you're in the final stages of preparation. Soon means the pieces are actively coming together. Soon means stay alert, stay open, stay ready. For some of you, sooner than you think means weeks. You're going to meet someone in the next month who will completely shift your trajectory. For others, it means a few months. Something is going to happen this year that you've been waiting years for. But here's what's true for all of you. It's closer than it's ever been. You're in the final stretch. This isn't the beginning of the wait. This is the end of it. And the reason I can say this with confidence isn't because I'm psychic or because I have special information. It's because I recognize the signs that always show up right before God moves. It's like recognizing that the sky looks a certain way before it rains, or that the air feels different before a storm. There's a pattern to divine timing, and that pattern is present in this season of your life. What God has been protecting you from while you've been waiting. God has been protecting you from relationships that looked right, but weren't. You've been attracted to people who would have derailed your destiny. You've been interested in people who would have drained your peace. You've almost settled for situations that would have kept you from your purpose. And every single time, God intervenes, sometimes through closed doors, sometimes through revealed character, sometimes through removed desire. You need to thank God for the people who didn't choose you, because they unknowingly protected your future. You need to thank God for the relationships that ended before they went further, because they were exit ramps off the highway to your destiny. Every painful ending was a loving redirection, and now you're not available for less than what God has for you. The people who would have distracted you can't even get your attention anymore. The situations that would have trapped you don't appeal to you anymore. You've been divinely disqualified from wrong connections, which means you're being preserved for the right one. The meeting will feel different when you finally meet your soulmate. It's going to feel different than anything you've experienced before. It won't necessarily be fireworks and movie magic. It might be comfort and peace and ease. It might be a conversation that flows effortlessly. It might be a sense of familiarity with someone you just met. It might be the absence of red flags and the presence of green lights. It might be thinking, "Oh, there you are," instead of, "Oh my God, is this real?" Don't let the simplicity of it make you miss it. Not every divine connection announces itself with drama. Sometimes the most significant meetings feel like coming home. Sometimes your soulmate won't sweep you off your feet. They'll stand beside you and help you build the life you've been praying for. And you'll know, not because violins play or because everything is perfect, but because your spirit will confirm it. You'll have peace. You'll have clarity. You'll feel safe. You'll see character. You'll witness consistency. And slowly, steadily, you'll build something real. For everyone who believes their soulmate is closer than they think. Comment, I believe, and watch how God moves in your life. Asterisk, asterisk, so what do you do with all of this? How do you live in this season of imminence without losing your mind or your faith? Let me give you some practical, spiritual, and emotional guidance for this exact moment you're in. Stay present in your current life. The biggest mistake you can make right now is putting your life on hold while you wait for your soulmate to arrive. Don't stop pursuing your goals. Don't stop building your career. Don't stop investing in your friendships. Don't stop serving God. Don't stop creating, learning, growing, experiencing life. Your soulmate is not coming to give you a life they're coming to share the life you've already built. When you stay engaged with your purpose, you're not just passing time, you're preparing yourself to be a better partner. You're developing interests you'll share. You're building stability you'll offer. You're cultivating a richness to your life that will make your relationship better. Plus, busy people who are fully alive are magnetic. You're more likely to meet your soulmate while you're actively living than while you're passively waiting. So pursue that passion project. Take that trip. Start that business. Deepen those friendships. Serve in your community. Invest in your spiritual life. The more full your life is, the healthier your relationship will be when it arrives. Empty people create needy relationships. Full people create thriving partnerships. Maintain your spiritual connection. This is not the time to drift from God. This is the time to draw closer. Your relationship with God is the foundation for every other relationship in your life, including the one with your soulmate. When you're spiritually grounded, you make better decisions. When you're prayerful, you discern more clearly. When you're connected to God, you're less likely to settle or force or manipulate. Keep praying specifically for your future spouse. Pray for their healing, their growth, their protection. Pray for their journey toward you. Pray that God prepares both of you for each other. This isn't just interceding for a stranger. This is partnering with God in the orchestration of your love story. Your prayers are literally shaping what's coming. And stay in environments that feed your faith. Surround yourself with people who believe with you, who speak life over you, who remind you of God's faithfulness when doubt creeps in. Read testimonies of divine timing. Listen to teachings about covenant relationships. Fill your atmosphere with truth so that fear doesn't take root. Heal what still needs healing. Just because your soulmate is close doesn't mean you're completely healed. Most of us meet our person while we're still in process as normal. But there's a difference between being in process and being unwilling to process. If you know there are areas where you need healing, counseling, forgiveness, or inner work, don't avoid them. Your soulmate deserves the healthiest version of you, not the version that refuses to deal with past wounds. Maybe you need to forgive someone who hurt you. Maybe you need to release bitterness about how long this has taken. Maybe you need to work through trust issues or fear of abandonment or self-worth struggles. Don't wait until you meet someone to start healing. Start now. The healing you do in private will determine the health of your relationship in public. And here's grace. You don't have to be perfect to meet your person. But you do need to be willing. Willing to grow, willing to communicate, willing to work on yourself, Your soulmate isn't looking for perfection, they're looking for someone who takes responsibility for their own healing and growth. Recognize them when they arrive. One of the enemy's strategies is to make you so focused on a fantasy that you miss the reality standing in front of you. Your soulmate might not look like you imagined. They might not have the career you expected, or the background you pictured, or the personality type you thought you wanted. Don't be so rigid in your expectations that you overlook what God is actually sending. Pay attention to character over charisma. Notice consistency over intensity. Value spiritual alignment over physical attraction alone. Look for someone who makes you better, not just someone who makes you feel good. Your soulmate will challenge you, stretch you, and sometimes frustrate you because iron sharpens iron. Don't mistake friction for incompatibility. Sometimes it's just growth, and be open. If someone enters your life who doesn't fit your mental checklist but demonstrates godly character, emotional health, and genuine interest, give it a chance. God has a better imagination than you do. He knows what you need better than you know what you want. Don't rush. Don't force when you finally meet someone who feels right. The temptation will be to rush. You've waited so long that you'll want to accelerate everything: the conversations, the commitment, the labels, the future. Resist that urge. Just because they're your person doesn't mean you need to skip steps. Take your time getting to know them. Let them earn your trust through consistency. Watch how they handle conflict, stress, disappointment. See them in different environments and seasons. Introduce them to the important people in your life and observe the dynamics. Ask hard questions. Have vulnerable conversations. Don't just fall in love with their potential, fall in love with their reality. A godly relationship doesn't need to be rushed because it's built to last. There's no emergency. You have time to do this right. And doing it right means building on a foundation of friendship, communication, shared values, and mutual respect, not just intense feelings. Trust the process finally. Trust that God's timing is perfect, even when it doesn't feel like it. Trust that the delays were purposeful. Trust that the closed doors were protection. Trust that everything you've been through was preparation. Trust that what's coming is worth every moment you waited. Your soulmate is worth the wait. The relationship you're about to build is worth the journey. The love you're going to experience is worth every tear you cried, every lonely night you endured, every time you almost gave up but didn't. God has been writing a story with your life, and you're about to walk into the chapter you've been waiting for. Don't let impatience rob you of peace in these final moments. Don't let fear make you second-guess what God has already confirmed. Don't let past disappointments keep you from expecting this breakthrough. Stand firm in faith. Stay soft in heart. Remain open in spirit, and watch God do what only He can do. If you're committing to trust God's timing with your love life, type "I trust you, God" in the comments. Let me leave you with this truth that I need you to carry with you. You're not crazy for believing. You're not foolish for hoping. You're not naive for trusting that God is going to come through for you in this area of your life. The signs you've been seeing are real. The stirring in your spirit is accurate. The preparation you've been experiencing has purpose. Your soulmate is out there right now, living their life, walking their own journey, experiencing their own moments of wonder and worry. They're hoping for you the same way you're hoping for them. They're praying for someone like you to exist. They're wondering if they'll recognize you when they see you. They're dealing with their own doubts about timing and worthiness, and whether this will actually happen. And somewhere between where you are and where they are, God is orchestrating details with precision that will blow your mind when you look back. He's arranging schedules, coordinating locations, positioning people, and setting up circumstances so that when you finally meet, it will feel like the most natural thing in the world. You won't believe how simple it is. You won't believe you almost missed it by over. You won't believe how perfectly it all came together. The wait is almost over, beloved. I know you've heard that before and been disappointed. I know you've gotten your hopes up only to have them crushed. I know you've seen everyone around you find their person while you're still asking God when it's your turn. But this time is different. This season is different. You're different. Everything you've been through has prepared you for what's coming. Every lesson learned, every boundary set, every healing moment, every time you chose yourself, every time you trusted God even when it didn't make sense, all of it has been building toward this. You're not the same person who started this journey. You're stronger, wiser, clearer, more healed, more whole. And the person you're about to meet is going to benefit from every single step of your journey. So here's what I want you to do. Receive this word with your whole heart. Stop hedging. Stop protecting yourself from disappointment by refusing to believe. Stop keeping one foot in hope and one foot in cynicism. Choose faith. Choose expectation. Choose to believe that God is faithful, that your time is coming, that your soulmate is closer than you think. Walk through your days with awareness. Notice the signs. Follow the peace. Trust your intuition. When you meet someone who feels different, don't dismiss it. When something in your spirit says, pay attention to this person, listen. God speaks through that inner knowing, and you've been trained by this journey to recognize His voice. And while you're waiting for them to arrive, live fully, laugh deeply, love yourself well. Create the kind of life you'd want to invite someone into. Become the kind of person you'd want to meet. Don't put your joy on hold until someone shows up to validate it. Be so whole on your own that when your soulmate arrives, they're adding to your happiness, not creating it. The signs are everywhere. The timing is perfect. The preparation is complete. Now it's just a matter of divine intersection, God bringing two prepared people together at the right moment. And that moment is closer than you think. I'm believing with you. I'm standing in faith with you. I'm declaring over your life that what God promised, He will perform. Your love story is being written in real time, and the best chapters are ahead of you. Don't give up now. Don't lose heart now. Don't stop believing now. You're too close to the breakthrough to back down from faith. Before you go, I want to pray over you. Father, I thank you for every person watching this who has been faithful in the waiting. I thank you for the journey you've brought them through and the person they've become because of it. I declare that their soulmate is closer than they think, that divine timing is at work, and that what you've promised you will fulfill. Open their eyes to see the signs. Soften their hearts to recognize love when it arrives. Give them wisdom to discern what's real. Protect them from counterfeits. Prepare them for the real thing. And when they finally meet the person you have for them, let it exceed their expectations in the best possible way. We trust your timing. We trust your orchestration. We trust your faithfulness. In Jesus' name, amen. If this message touched your soul and you want to support this ministry so I can continue creating content that speaks life over your journey, there's a super thanks button below. Every bit of support helps me dedicate more time to creating these deep, spirit-led messages for you. But whether you're able to give or not, I'm grateful you're here now. One more thing before you go. You received confirmation through this message that your soulmate is closer than you think. I want you to comment one thing you're going to do differently starting today. Maybe it's releasing control. Maybe it's staying present. Maybe it's choosing to believe again. Drop it in the comments and let's build each other's faith. Your soulmate is coming. God is showing you the signs. Trust what you're sensing. This is your season. This is your time. Everything is lining up. Stay ready. Stay open. Stay believing, and remember, sooner than you think means you might want to start making room in your heart, your schedule, and your life, because love is about to walk through the door. I'll see you in the next video. But something tells me when you watch it, you might have a very different testimony to share. Get ready. Your story is about to get really good.